David, hi. Look, I'm very intrigued about these four enablers you talk about to generate, or like I always say, engender, right? Nobody
Yeah,
understands
yeah,
that
yeah,
word, but
yeah, yeah,
basically generate
yeah,
engagement.
yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, Ben. Okay, well, let's do that. And I'm going to say just very briefly, they came from a year's study
Mhm.
that we were commissioned by the British government to do, Nita Clark and I, to try and answer the questions: what is employee engagement? Is there any evidence it matters? And if
Uh-huh.
it does matter, then what are these four things that you mentioned that are present? So, through this research, we came out with these lenses, if you like, these enablers. And the first one is, um, does everyone in the organization have a sense of where the organization came from,
Mhm.
where it is today, and where it aspires to go in the future? Something I can relate my job to, something that I can articulate if I'm asked over a beer or a glass of wine somewhere. So I can tell you what our organisation is about and what we're all trying to do. And I feel a stake in that. I may have had some, it might be quite a minor stake, but I've had a bit of a hand in shaping this. We share it with each other. We create a co-owned sense of what it is we're trying to do, and through that, that helps to bubble the energy, give me a sense of purpose. I know what I'm taking part in by creating this sense of honesty about where we are and where we're trying to get to. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't know whether you call it the research. 62% of all Americans would prefer a new boss to a pay rise.
Mhm.
So you all work for somebody. It doesn't matter how
Yes.
senior, how junior, you work for somebody. And these engaging managers, they do a few things well. The first thing is they treat me like a human being, not a human
Human resource.
resource.
Hmm.
They treat me not as human capital, but as an individual. And that manifests itself in, maybe it's something to do with childcare help. Maybe you cannot help by starting an hour later, leaving, or maybe you can't. They help people who want a particular skill they want to learn or something that worries them at work. It may be their career they want to develop in a particular way. The boss helps them with that. The boss also, the manager also, um, uh, encourages and coaches all the time.
Yes.
They
Huh.
give me feedback. We're
Okay.
social animals. We need to
Yeah.
feel that someone's noticed, and the sheer act of thanking someone, acknowledgement, is terribly powerful. Equally, these great managers, they don't walk past dysfunctional behaviour. They
Mhm.
address dysfunctional behaviour, but they do it in a really open, engaging way, which basically is, I really like these things you do. They've got to be authentic. You've got to believe
Yes.
those things you're going to
Yes.
praise. But here's a couple of things that get in the way.
Yeah.
And in that sense, people are much more likely to be open-minded to think about it. So they're developing me. They treat me as a human being. I'm clear what success will look like. It's not about being popular. It's about
Mhm.
doing those things. The third thing we found, it's we call it voice. Voice travels from the front line to the back office, from the
Yes.
junior to most senior, and we know what's going on. We feel respected. We feel open. We feel able to share opportunities we see, problems we see. Bosses are open. They give it an informed voice by saying where we are and how we're doing and so on. There's a real sense of mutual respect and voice running through the organisation. It's also the cheapest smoke alarm you'll ever have because things go wrong all the time.
Mhm.
Do you catch them when they're this
That's right.
big because there's voice, or do you wait to be gaming the emissions tests
Yeah.
in North
I can
America,
imagine.
or the oil is gushing in the North Sea? So it's really, really a great way to ensure you don't waste money on PR and lawyers because you catch things when they're small, and that's where leading with character is so important. That you create in your book, you create the sense that we need to know what we do, what we're doing, why we're doing it, the purpose behind it. We need to have explored who we are. We need to explore the gift we want to bring, and if people see that, it's an example of how voice can work. It creates the tone for voice to happen. If you're working for someone who's got character, thought about these things, then you're much more likely to
Yes.
respond well. And finally, we've called it integrity. It's a very simple thought. Most organisations have 5 or 6 values on the wall. They also have behaviours that I see amongst my bosses and my colleagues. When they overlap, you get trust. When
Yes.
there's a gap, the gap between them is called distrust, and everything takes forever because we're always second guessing. The classic one, And number 4, I've noticed of 5 values is normally innovation. Something to do with like people who do new things, blah, blah, blah. The question is the behavior you're looking for. What happens when someone does something? Yes. It doesn't work 100% well first time. Do they get a free one-way ticket to Siberia? Or is it a learning opportunity we're all going to benefit from by openly exploring why it didn't work? So creating integrity is terribly, terribly important because it creates the oil that really oils all the activities in the organisation. So we just found these lenses, these enablers, a very good set of thinking, creates a sort of mindset for how to approach the topic.
Yes. Oh, I'm very excited, David, because our thoughts really are converging. And here we are, and we're both in different parts of the ocean, and yet we feel the same way about leaders. In terms of what's missing. And
absolutely.
And as leaders with character, we need to engage. So thank you so much for sharing these thoughts. And until next time.
Until next time. Okay, great to talk with you, Ben. Very good.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.